Welcome everyone. We'll do something a little different today. We're going to take care of a headlight restoration. We're going to do one side with machines. We'll do the other side by hand. You could do it either way. If you're going to do it by hand, you got to really hustle, especially with some of the prices I see being charged for headlights. I squeeze it in between jobs here and there, and I do it by machine just to really knock it out quick. And when it comes to pricing, for me it's simple. I'm going to take a look at what it would cost to get a used pair of headlights for that vehicle, and I'll charge a little less than half. For example, if both headlights will cost about 300 bucks to replace, it's going to be around 140 to do the headlight restoration. I see a lot of prices out there, 60 for both. I don't see how you could, especially if you're doing it by hand, I don't see how you could spend all the time doing headlights for 60 bucks. Anyways, down in the comments section, let me know what you guys charge for headlight restoration. And without further hesitation, let's get this video started. This is what we're working on today, typical of the factory clear coat over plastic headlight lenses. We're going to get rid of this altogether. The only way to restore them properly, you have to completely remove the original clear coat. It's going to be replaced by Duplicolor, non-yellowing, UVA UVB resistant, ready mixed clear coat. First things first, even I'll put a nice layer of protection around the headlight. If you're just first getting started, your first headlight restoration, put 2 layers because you're easily going to go through masking tape. So I get a lot of vehicles that have been previously detailed by a different detailer, not to put them down. Some of the headlights look really good. It's that around the headlights, the bezels are sanded and nicked and scratched. Just time wasn't taken to protect the areas around the headlight. So we had a Trizac disc soaking in water. We're going to wet the area, and we're going to attach the disc to my 2-inch pneumatic polisher sander. I'll put a link down below for this. As long as you have a compressor that'll give you 90 pounds or plus or higher, you will be able to operate this tool and the tool that I'm going to use to follow up on this. When it comes to deciding which grit I'm going to use, it depends on the shape of the lens itself. This here, there's not much of the factory clear left on the lens, so I'm going to start with 3000 and go to 5000 grit, because I just want to remove a little bit of what's left of the clear and then smooth out the plastic lens itself, get it ready for the clear. If you have a real degraded, cracked, and a lens in bad shape, sometimes I'll start with 1000 grit, go to 3000 grit, and from there a polish and get it ready for a clear coat. It's always going to be followed up with a quality clear that's UVA, UVB resistant, non-yellowing. The white milky residue is the factory clear being removed from the lens. Getting back to the clear, some don't even use it. Some will just, after polishing it and removing the old clear, would put a sealant or some from a kit, the wipe new plastic coat. I'm going to go ahead and use the non-yellowing UVA, UVB resistant and get it done right so I don't have to see it back every year and a half. This step is finished. We're going to remove the residue, rinse it off with water, we'll wipe it clean. We're going to come in and take a look. We want to make sure the old factory clear is removed, and it's easy to tell if it has been completely or not. The headlight lens should be slightly hazed, and if you see a perfectly clear area, like I'm going to show you, I left a little area down in the front right corner of the headlight right here. That is where there is still some of the factory clear remaining. That's what it looks like. So you want to go back and buzz that off, hit that real quick, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so we switched from the 3000 to the 5000 grit disc, and all we're doing now is removing the sanding marks from the first step. The clear has already been removed, so we're just now prepping it and bringing out the best clarity that we can before a new clear is applied. As you can see here up close, we are still producing a little bit of a light colored residue, but that now is the plastic lens itself. And that's why we have transitioned to a really high grit sandpaper or sand disc. Either 3,000, 4,000, or 5,000, it's all that's needed to prepare for the clear. Okay, good enough. Before we move on though, let me bring you in close, give you an idea what it looks like before we start to polish. That's just a slight haze and will easily be removed by polish. Now, if the inside of the lens is in good shape, this is going to turn out to look like a brand new headlight. Sometimes you're going to have the inside of the lens facing the bulb, have a little bit of damage, maybe some cracking or oxidation or fading from the heat. Not much you could do about that. If you want to separate the lens from the base, that's fine. Normally, we can't put that much time into a restoration, so here we're switching to a different tool. We went from the 2-inch to a 3-inch pneumatic rotary polisher, and I attached a microfiber pad to that. We're going to use the 3M plastic polish, bring out the best clarity we can. After stepping down from the 5,000 grit paper, all you're going to need is a polishing microfiber pad just like this, and a little bit of the 3M plastic polish, and this will be good to go. Okay, we removed the residue, and indeed the inside of the lens is in pretty good shape, so this should turn out to look like a brand new headlight. Okay, one down, one to go. We're going to take care of the driver's side by hand. Okay, so switching from the pneumatic tools to doing it by hand, which will take a heck of a lot longer, but we're going to use a palm foam block for the Trizact discs. You don't have to use the discs. You could use paper and the rid sticks. Whatever method you use to do wet sanding, as long as you're wet sanding, I'm happy. It's my favorite part of the day, my favorite part of correction, pretty much my favorite part of detailing. As I bring you in closer, you can see the white residue, which is the factory clear, and we have the same goals as we did on the other side. Remove it completely. We want no clear shiny spots. We want a nice dull haze over the lens. Then we know that the original clear is removed, and we can move on. By the way, if you're doing it by hand, cut to the chase, slap on that 1000 grit. It'll cut quicker for you, cut down a little bit of time. So here we're done with the first step. We're going to remove the residue and hop on to the next step. And I want to give you a glance at what it looks like at this stage. I want to explain something, and I hope this makes sense here. The reason I don't go below 1000 grit to start and to really cut off that original clear quickly is if you go below 1000 grit, the sanding marks from whatever you may choose to do that are going to take longer to remove on the next step, and it's going to take just as long. I hope that makes sense, but that's why I start with 1000 grit in worst case scenario, jump up to 3000 grit from there, and then polish. So say you choose 800 grit to start to remove the clear. Boy, I'll tell you, it's just a short jump from 1000 to 800 grit, but it sure is a bear to remove the marks from the 800 grit. Hence, that's why I started 1000. Hope that makes sense. Now we're going to remove the residue from this step, and we're going to go from here to polishing, and we're just about done. Okay, so I'm going to take off the sanding disc, and this 3-inch block is perfect for the 3-inch pad we used on the 3-inch polisher on the other side. So I quick put that on, that's hook and loop, get on the plastic polish onto the pad, and go to town. Exact same goals as the other side using a machine. We want to remove all sanding marks now and bring out the best clarity before the clear. Okay, we'll remove the residue from the polish, and then we're going to have to prep the headlight lens to receive the clear coat, clean it off properly of all waxes, oils, fingerprints, anything that may have come in contact to it. First, we tape everything up because we're going to do some spraying. We apply an IP solution, get it as clean as we can. When it comes to protecting the rest of the car from the overspray, I usually pop the hood, I'll put plastic over the whole front clip with tape, and then just throw a cover over the rest of the car, and you're good to go. The real fun part for me next, I get excited anytime I get to break out the spray gun or even the airbrush kit. One of my favorite passions. So I'm going to line the cup so I don't have to spend so much time on cleaning afterwards. Just pull out the liner, make sure it's dry, throw it away. I have pre-mixed, pre-filtered twice, duplicolor, UVA UVB resistant non-yellowing clear coat for plastic, and we're ready to go. Two healthy coats of the clear coat. Doesn't take very long for it to dry. Remove the plastic and we will be on to the next job. And here's your before and after. Okay guys, that's about it. One by machine, one by hand, can be done both ways. If you gotta do it by hand, you really have to hustle. Please let me know down below what you guys charge for headlight restoration and how you do it. Brian from Apex Detail. Catch you in the next video.